Welcome again to the Lending Lounge, everybody out there in the world watching us here. I've got the greatest of all time, Mr. David Hernandez with DM Property Media. And David and I have probably known each other now about a year and a half, so.
Yeah, just about.
And we've been working on different things. The studio, for one, was, again, courtesy of Mr. Hernandez. He helped me out with that. And he does a lot of other things. But before I get into exactly what David does and how he can help you guys, if someone's out there looking that needs your services, let's first start with David Hernandez. Where'd you grow up? What'd you do? How'd you make it to Florida?
Well, before we dive into that, thank you so much for having me on your episode. It's gracious, and I love the opportunity. Thank you for your kind words. The greatest.
The greatest, bro. The greatest.
Thank you. Well, it really, that's a deep question, right? I think when we break down the complexity of who we are, there's a lot of facets that make up who we are. But to describe it, I would say I am a curious, creative human being. From a young age, I was always very curious and wanting to learn and explore different things. Growing up, they asked me, what do you want to be? I wanted to be a janitor. I fell in love with my janitor in elementary school. I would see him with the keys, right? The key ring, and had hundreds of keys on there. And I would see him pushing this trash can and just carrying his steel, I'll never forget it, this steel lunchbox. And everything about him was mysterious. He had power. He was clean, but we knew nothing about him. So I was very curious about that. So I wanted to be a janitor. I wanted to be a firefighter. I remember dressing up and having my dad tie me to see how fast I could get out of bed to get dressed and see if I can be a firefighter. I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be so many different things. And I think the curiosity in me has led me through different paths of exploration in life, which has brought me to this place today, which is why when I look back, there's no doubt that I'm doing what I'm doing in the creative space, helping people with their digital media. But it's been a whole life journey of exploring who I am, from dabbling into acting to getting into filmmaking to running my own business and having liquidation businesses, being a personal trainer, and having a culinary arts degree, and being a chef for many years. I mean, there's a lot of facets, but I think it comes down to a creative case.
By the way, David's arroz con Honduras. Fantastic. Let me tell you. Fantastic. So David, like you said, I think David's one of those super interesting people that I've met in my life. Because, we met for what he does now, but as we've talked and got to know each other, I've got to hear the stories about the acting. I've got to hear the stories about almost playing football in college, right? Like, I've got to hear the stories of him going to Miami to get his culinary degree. Like, he's a very fascinating person when you get to talk to him and actually listen to his stories. And then when you get to eat his food, that's another story. As you can see, I don't skip meals, so it's always a good plus. It's a plus for me. It's a plus for me. It's a plus for me. But David, so now we made it to Florida.
Yeah.
You're setting up shop here. What brought you to Florida? Or Florida, I know you went to Miami, but what brought you to Polk County?
My wife. Back in 2018, I was pursuing my acting career. I had an agency out of Orlando, and I was living in Miami at the time, running a liquidation business. We had a 5,000 square foot warehouse. I was reselling a lot of liquidated items that we would get off an auction. And I was making this trip 2-3 times a week, 4 hours over, 4 hours back, 4 hours over. And I really made a realization, and I challenged myself. I said, well, if you love this that you're doing, and clearly you're investing the time to do it, why are you wasting time here? As challenging as it was, I left the warehouse, left everything in it. I packed everything in my car, and I moved to Lakeland in 2018, and I decided to pursue my acting career. And after several years in that, in 2020, I moved to California again to pursue it. I said, if I'm going to be doing this, why not do it in a place where, there's a lot more growth, there's a lot more opportunities. I got a relationship with an actor acting coach out there. He was starting a conservatory program. I didn't know what the heck it was, but I said I want to explore it. Again, I packed my bags in my car and I drove cross country to California. And that's where the journey of this creative lifestyle on a greater scale began. And I did that, then COVID hit, and I was traveling back and forth from California to Florida during COVID, had some friends out here, and then I so happened to meet who's now my wife. They invited me to DJ an event. She helped me work on the lighting cue because she has some lighting engineering and some sound engineering experience, and we did that, became friends, and a year later we ended up dating 6 months after, and then a year later I moved to Polk County and I live here. So I blame her for it. All in well, good blessing.
I thank you, Nana. Thank you. This, it's a great person to know, great friend to have. So I appreciate the love connection that happened that eventually, brought him into this space and allowed me to meet you. So that's a beautiful story. And then now we fast forward, right? Like now we're in 2023, end of 2022, beginning of 2023, right? And now we're DM Property Media. That's how I meet you. Networking. We're in a networking group together, right? And we started talking, chopping it up, and then now, what is it that you do?
We help real estate professionals with all of their digital media, and really specifically helping them establish their brand identity, who they are, who they want to become through digital media. And some of our services include photography, videography, 3D tours, aerial drone photography and video work, and also helping them with their branding, from creating their branding to establishing their brand identity to also optimizing their YouTube channel, again, in line with their brand, to help them become the authority figure in their marketplace in the realm of real estate.
So you're a one-stop shop for realtors. That includes everything, right? Like branding, logo creation, social media, videos, pictures, drone footage, renderings, right?
Yeah, 3D renderings.
So, I mean, David's your guy if you need anything that has to do with real estate and you're kind of stuck. You don't know where do I go? What do I do? This is the man you need to talk to get you moving in the right direction, right? I can speak for myself. David was the guy that put this together that you see here with me. We came in, we talked. Pablo, do this. Everything David said, I did. Now structure like this, I did, and here we are now. Fast forward, 6 months later, this is where we're at. So the vision, if you need that, again, speaking from personal experience, I can tell you that David, helped me and allowed me to do what I'm doing in this space. And although I'm not a realtor, so to speak, right? What his super focus is on, he's able to help me as a mortgage broker. So even if you're a mortgage broker and you're watching this and you need some tips or some pointers and you need to move further along in your career, hands with my eyes closed, I can definitely recommend David to do what he does. So give him a call or shout when it comes to those kind of things. David, now that you are again, in your year and a half now of this business moving forward, how did you see your growth, blossoming or taking more fruition, right? Because one of the things that I wanted to make this show about, obviously, we want to spotlight you and the work you've done, but I also want to let people know, if you have a dream, go after it. What are some of the trials and tribulations you've experienced as a business owner, right? Because and with you and with me, this isn't our first business, right? You've had multiple businesses before, you've done other things, but now in 2024, what's relevant to somebody starting a business? What would you say? Hey, look out for this, watch out for this. Keep your eye on the prize type situation. What do you think are the biggest key points that you can advise a fellow entrepreneur that's out there that's watching us?
What helped me transition into where I'm at today and to see the growth that I'm having today is to be very specific as to who we want to serve and what pain points do we want to solve. being an actor and a filmmaker and loving the creative space, the thing I was challenged with was to say no. They asked me and they said, hey, can you do this website? Yes. Can you do this logo design? Yes. Can you do the Shopify site? Yes. Can you do this commercial? Absolutely. Saying yes to everything. And I was working horizontally, and it seemed like I was doing a lot, but I wasn't moving forward. I was stuck, doing a lot of work, but not advancing into successfully achieving what I thought was success for me, which was helping people excel their business. After I realized that many, many months into what I was doing, I realized that real estate professionals have a lot in common when it comes to filmmaking. There's a story that they need to tell with hopes of selling their home, with hopes of helping somebody else sell their home or find their home, right? And oftentimes, as a real estate professional myself, back in 2008, 2010, I got into real estate investing in 2008, the worst time ever. I thought I knew what I was gonna do, and I lost 3 homes in that 2008 year, which was the biggest learning experience. In 2010, I got my real estate license, and I practiced from 2010 to 2016 as a realtor and a real estate investor. In that, if I knew what I knew now in the realm of digital media and how digital media influences how people perceive you, and that impacts your professionalism, your credibility, and if they're going to choose you versus others, it would have been a completely different game for me.
Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah. Which is then, as I was trying to figure out what do I want to do, I quickly gravitated to the real estate world because there's so many real estate professionals that have no clue what they're doing. And the real truth is,
right here, I'm one of them.
No real estate professional should ever be trying to figure out what to do when it comes to digital media. Because your time is better spent invested in things that are going to help your business grow, which is getting out there in the community, getting known, building leads, building relationships, right? Lead generating, all of these things that are going to help you become more fruitful. When I niche down, which is hard, because when you have skills and talents, you don't want to say no because you think, I'm going to miss out on money. I'm going to miss out on this business venture. I'm going to miss out on this other person. When I niche down and I focused and I learned to say no and said yes, because here's the truth. When you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Correct. 100%. Oh, David, you took my thoughts right out of my head.
And if you're saying no to what you really want to do, then you're wasting time. You're not being efficient. You're not being effective. When I started learning to say no to the things that weren't in line with what I wanted to niche down in, things started to change for me. The opportunities started coming by themselves. I wasn't out there having to fish for them anymore. They were coming to me. And in that, one of the unique things that we do is we educate real estate professionals. We have partnered with EPCAR, East Polk County Association of Realtors. We give classes there. We're actually booked for the entire year. We're doing 2 classes every month.
And I've been to his Canva class, so if you haven't taken that one, or if you're watching and you need to learn how to use Canva, David's amazing. And I'm someone that thought that I knew pretty much everything that there needed to be with Canva. And I went and I was shocked. I didn't know anything. I knew how to change a template. That's what I knew how to do.
And that is a big component of what we really strive to do for agents, is educate them. In the realm of digital media, it is so protective, and we're so skeptical sometimes, and we're so scared of sharing because we think we're going to lose business. Well, if I teach them everything I know, then they don't need me anymore. Quite the opposite. When you're able to give them value, that puts you in a position of an expert yes, they might go try it and they might do a few things by themselves. But when they realize what it really takes, who are they going to think of? Who are they going to come back to? Right? Educating agents from branding to how to make social media videos, to how to create social media content, topics, right? To how to be on camera as an actor, how to speak in front of a camera. All of those things is something that we love to educate agents on, which I think is what separates us from other professionals in this area, which they're all talented. We're all excellent at what we do. But that's one thing that we really focus on, is to help agents just become better, man, in many ways. So again, to answer that question, I would say niche down and be very specific about who you want to serve, about who you want to be as a professional. What pain points do you want to solve? And stay there. Double down on that, and I promise you that those efforts are going to be lasting, and they're going to bring you a reward way greater than you trying to say yes to everything.
And I think that when you do that, right, like you focus in on what your target audience is, so to speak, you now are able to deliver a better customer service experience, right?
Absolutely.
Because now, if I'm telling you, for example, in my lane, as mortgage space, if I'm over here trying to do for nationals, I'm trying to do an FHA loan, first-time home buyers, I'm trying to do investment loans, fix and flips, like it's just a lot of things, right? And it's not that I can't do it, just like you said.
Right.
It's I prefer to stay in my lane and do first-time home buyers typically, or refinances, and I like to do just that lane right there. I try to stay, just like you said, keeping your lane, which allows you to do better customer service, because at the end of the day, if you got this over here and you're spreading yourself thin on this over here, now, like, what time do you have to actually get back to people, right? Like, now you're trying to not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but doing a lot of busy work.
Yeah, exactly. You're wasting a lot of time oftentimes.
There you go. So now focusing in on customer service, like, how does that separate you in your business now, right? So now that you lasered in on everything, now you can offer this customer service. Like, so what is it, or what does it mean to you to continue to provide that?
Well, when you niche down and stay in that very specific lane, it makes you now the authority. You're now the expert. Because when you're so wide, you really can't become the expert in all of those things. You might be knowledgeable, but there's a loss of credibility. If you do mortgages, and then you also do insurance, and then you also do accounting, and you also do, I'm also a realtor, you think, oh, I'm going to be able to do more. I'm going to be able to have from more baskets, right? Take in from more ponds. You lack that connection, which, back to customer service, for us the most important thing is the connection that we have, the meaningful connection. As actors, everything that we look for is to have a connection with whoever I'm acting with. Meaning there's a human connection that I am seeking in every moment of every scene throughout the entire film.
Right.
It's no different than in business. The customer service I can now offer real estate professionals is going to be more intimate. Why? Because I'm going to understand them better. I'm going to be able to know what their pain points are. I'm going to be able to know what their strategies might be, because every agent is different. But there's only so much you can do, because there's only so many things out there that you need to worry about when it comes to strategies, right? You can understand their clients better. It just now allows a deeper connection from partner to partner that will now help us make their business more successful. And in that is that customized service that we offer, that customized customer service that we do. Meaning, we customize whatever it is that they're needing based on their goals. Because we operate as an agency, this is all we offer, and that's all you have to choose from. It's like, no, if your goal is this and these are your needs, well, here's something that we can customize for you to satisfy those needs. So that's what makes us really different than others.
Awesome. And just for the people that are watching, right? Because I've asked you long. We kind of been talking for a minute now, and I don't know how long, to keep this video entertaining. We're definitely gonna have you back to maybe zoom in on some other things.
Sure.
People that are watching now, they want to get a hold of David. They want to speak to David. How do they get a hold of David?
You can give me a call the fastest way, honestly. I like speaking to people on the phone. I don't know about you all, but I want to still hear people's voice. You can call me at 213-926-8903. We're also on all my social media platforms. You can find us on all platforms under @DN Property Media.
So there you go. Everybody who's watching out there, any realtors or mortgage professionals that I've worked with in the past or that I know, again, this is definitely somebody you want in your corner, somebody that you want to talk to, get to know, and potentially do business with. He definitely has helped me in what I'm doing, and I'm sure that he can help a lot of you guys out there. So David, I appreciate you again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for coming out, for taking the time from your busy day, because I know your phone's been blowing up since you've been here. So thank you for your taking out time and helping me produce this podcast and let everybody introduce and get to know you.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.